Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak from the BitcoinPodcast.com here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm going to be talking about some artistic accessories with Lauren Slade, co-founder of the Decentralized art shows. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Could you please introduce yourself, let everybody know how you got into Bitcoin and how that led you to what you do in the industry now?
Yeah, hey Ken. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm a big follower. I love watching all of your episodes, so I'm really excited to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So, how did you get into Bitcoin? Like, what was your aha moment, or what's like your crypto origin story?
Okay, well, to be, totally honest, when I get asked this question, I want to pay tribute to, the full origin. So to be honest, I would say how I got into Bitcoin was pretty much through punk rock and being, a humble disruptor, always asking questions, growing up. Um, it really started with being an advocate for, not trusting authority blindly. Um, and so, that naturally led to, find, a tech like Bitcoin that is decentralized. Um, that's, a short version. How I got into the space as involved as I am now. I was living in Austin, Texas. I had been working for a startup for about 3.5 years. The startup was a peer-to-peer delivery company, and I was one of the first, like 20 employees that worked there. And so we were a peer-to-peer delivery company before there was any delivery competitors. We were really looked at as being like, cool, like the cool, like it was cool if you used this company, this peer-to-peer service. People wanted the t-shirts, people wanted to Instagram and snap that they had, this person, bring them this thing. And that's kind of where my passion for like peer-to-peer community building started. Let's say about mm, in about May of 2016 is when I got involved with a rideshare startup in Austin, and they had aspirations to end up creating a decentralized rideshare on the Ethereum blockchain. And this happened because Uber and Lyft left, overnight with no fair warning, causing, over 10,000 people to be out of work. And
Whoa.
so I was getting off of my job. I was getting off of my job that night at like 4 a.m. and driving home. And I would drive down 6th Street, which is, the street with all the bars and the people that drink. And the night that Uber and Lyft left, there's the girls that are wobble me, drunk, slamming their finger on their phone because they can't figure out why their Uber isn't opening. None of these people went out that night knowing that they weren't going to have a ride home drunk at the end of the night. So swiftly, a group of decentralizers created a Facebook group that local people started joining, and within about a month there was 40,000 people in this group, and it was a Facebook group, and the people started offering each other rides in this Facebook group. So it was totally decentralized, peer-to-peer. Riders can choose their own drivers, and it's between and the drivers can set their own fees. There was no middleman or anyone making any cut of it. So that's the origin story of where the peer-to-peer rideshare started there in Austin, and then about 4 months later, that project was finally, fortunate to meet some of the, first available Ethereum developers because, in the summer of 2016, all these like ICOs and like all this hype hadn't happened yet. It was like slim pickings with professionals in the space with the quality um, of skill set to produce what was needing to be produced with smart contracts at the time. So we went with the first developers that reached out to us. Um, and then pretty shortly after that happening, a brand fork occurred, and that project turned to become Swarm City, which was founded about January 1 of 2017. So that is a project that I'm a co-founder of, and the token is SWT. And we're currently in our, phase of coming up to the version 2 to start to, hopefully in the beginning of Q1 this year, there will be some more, features available with the Swarm City platform. Um, so yes, so the developments with the smart contracts and getting the tech best for Swarm City actually put, or the developers of that project chose to, maybe not focus on community building as much and focus most on, building a solid foundation of tech and putting most all resources into that. um, well, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a developer, and I like to stay busy. So, I'm a huge supporter and advocate of Swarm City and absolutely plan to use it and create a hashtag when it's, open and available.
Oh, hell
But
yeah.
intermittently, I started this project, Decentralized Art Shows, because I'm very passionate about decentralized community building and the type of education that is required to see the type of mass adoption that we all want to see. So this Decentralized Art Show was, an organic idea to, start to get people on local art levels in their communities to come into the crypto space organically by, creating content through their art, for people in exchange for cryptocurrencies. So through this, we are able to get artists to start accepting all cryptocurrencies. So when they do art shows, for themselves outside of our decentralized art show, them accepting cryptocurrency is actually promoting it. People will be asking them, "Oh, you accept Bitcoin? Cool. What's that? How do I do that?" So, I was thinking that if I could onboard, 3,000 artists,
Wow.
that would probably expose maybe 30,000 people, to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. The decentralized art show is a great concept. I was wondering, like, what really brought that to fruition, and how do you what are some of the steps that the organization's taking to reach the goals?
Yeah. Um, well, the first goals that there was to see if there was any interest, in this. Like, this is an idea, but is anybody interested in it?
Well, are people
So
interested in buying art with crypto?
yes, very, very, very much so. So our first 3 shows we did locally in Austin, and it was just for local people. Like, we use the Meetup app. And we have about 400 people in our Austin Decentralized Art Show meetup. And the local shows were great. I had a few products that I had gotten from friends. Naomi has a book that's called Billy's Bitcoin. I got a couple copies of that signed at Freedom Fest this summer, and I, take those with me when I do these events. And at my first decentralized art show, all of the books I had all sold for Bitcoin. Um, Also, we have spotlight and featured artists that create, Bitcoin or blockchain or future art. One of those being an artist, Nanu Burks. She's a really, really cool girl. She was, on your show previously, and she kills it. She sells a ton of her work. Another good, friend and partner that we collaborate with from Troy from cryptoart.com. He makes amazing, work that, is prints, for limited edition prints that have um, wallets built into them that you can, you know, use the QR and add your, it's a print of Litecoin, so it's a QR for a Litecoin wallet, and you can add your Litecoin to it. And that's really cool because
That's
it's
crazy.
challenging the value, because these are limited edition, prints, and they cost money and value for the artwork that the artist had created, and matting it and getting it all professionally done, and getting the wallets in it, and etc. And then you also put the value of like the crypto on it too, so it starts to challenge like how valuable is this asset.
Wow. Yeah, that would be like
um,
painting the Mona Lisa on a brick of gold.
exactly. Totally.
That's friggin' ingenious. That is actually really
Yes.
smart. Because, like, you could say, well, my art's worth $500 because it's literally intrinsically worth $500. I drew on a $500 bill, and it's worth $500 at minimum.
Okay, all right. So I was gonna try to keep this a secret, but because it's not totally like locked down 100%. But regardless of if it happens, for sure or not, I just want to name drop this artist. He's on Instagram. That's how I found him, and his name is J. Colombo. So JDOTCOLOMBO. I'm not saying that right actually. JDOTCOLOMBC is his name on Instagram. And please, everyone, like, look him up right now. This dude is a total badass. Okay, why do I say this? This fool is cutting up stacks of like $100 bills
I
and
know, I'm
turning them
looking at it right
into
now. Holy
wicked,
shit.
wicked, wicked art. Like, that is straight up
What the fuck?
disruption.
Is this even
And,
legal?
as
Is it
far as you,
legal? Like what I'm looking at right now, is it legal? Because he is taking stacks of hundreds of dollars of bills. This must be like 50 grand, and he's destroying it into art.
in all currencies,
Oh,
you know,
wow, this is beautiful.
it's so amazing. So, so um, I wanted to say that the first three shows that we did in Austin were local, and we were testing out like our, idea or our prototype, if you will, because we're doing this like out of pocket. So, let's like start small and just like see what's up. Well, it turns out it's a great idea. Everyone's into it, and it gives us confidence to like, start to put some money and down in it. And so we did a show, um, and we'd like to keep as possible. So as far as saying like, what do you do? How do you make this happen? Well, one of the websites I use is called peerspace.com. Um, there's like Airbnb where you can rent a place to stay. Well, Peerspace is filling the gap for event spaces. So you can, rent out a restaurant or like a bar or something, or like coffee shop, when they're closed, and have your event there. Um, so I used that to find Joe's Coffee Shop in downtown Austin that has the first Ethereum ATM in Austin, as well as a Bitcoin ATM in the downtown location. So we had our decentralized art show after party for the Texas Bitcoin conference. I'm here at Joe's, and we were afforded quite a few sponsors, such as, we have all of our artists using the Airbits wallet, which is rebranding to be Edge.
Edge, yeah,
Um,
Airbits is my favorite, man. I love the directory.
Yeah, 100%. And they're very community driven. You can, like you said, with the directory, and you can see what's in your area. Um, and it's also like the UX and the user experience is just so easy with Airbits. Um, and so that's one that we always use, and are big fans of them. And then we also have done quite a few projects with Zencash. We had Renat of Remining come down to Austin and do a demo on building a Zencash mining rig. Um, and we oftentimes are, helping to set up the Zencash wallets for the Android users. Um, so, we're when we say decentralized art shows, like we're agnostic in crypto. So it's not, just Bitcoin.
Right, you can't be a maximalist. I mean, you have to be willing to express and explain all blockchains because that you when people leave out Ethereum and things like Dash, I feel like it really confuses people about blockchain. Like you just like talk about one because they'll start to think, oh, that's a type of Bitcoin or something. You know,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
you got to
And
be all
you know,
inclusive.
yes, and with us trying to help, the pioneering of, mass adoption, like with the transaction times, taking so long now with Bitcoin, it's not feasible to be operating as we were, with our shows in the summer. We just can't do that now. So that's why we are, taking on like, sponsors and endorsements with other, tokens to help us, really leverage this mass adoption timely. It's not, it's going to be the same shit all over again if the same caliber of person is the one that is the early adopter of digital currencies. Like for this to be different, we need to have everyone coming in the gates as early adopters to have a fair chance at moving into the new world with financial freedom.
True. No,
So
yeah, definitely. Speaking of like fair chances and financial freedom, you're going from Texas to Miami with the Decentralized Art Show. Or how are you going about finding local artists for the local events, and how can local artists find you to be part of local events?
awesome, great question. Okay, so that's part of it, and thank you for taking that back to how I found this amazing artist on Instagram. Um, so I want to curate like artistically disruptive shows. So there will be, artists there that are local as well as, artists that aren't local, but they're bringing like exceptional artistic disruption. So how we're finding local artists is predominantly using like Meetup app and Facebook groups and just, guerrilla marketing tactics. I'm anywhere I can find people that are saying, "Hey, we're a group of artists in Miami." I'll go in there and I'll start a conversation. And one thing that's really cool about 2017 is that Bitcoin is popular.
Yeah, but see, like, not to
Like
cut you off, but like, say I am an artist, like, what would be appealing to me to accept Bitcoin? Like, why? Like, say, like, say I am an artist, like, pitch it to me. Why would I want to accept Bitcoin for my art and not just make people give me, cash like I have been doing?
Well, so quite a few artists, like the ones that I had said, are like Nanu and like Michael Garfield. Um, like somebody approached them and wanted to buy their art and said, "Do you accept Bitcoin?" Like like they were not going to get the sell if they didn't, and they
True.
didn't. And artists are, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to say that like every artist is starving, but like artists have to put in their, work well beyond painting to make, their livelihood. And to miss a sale is a big deal.
Yeah, you can't limit
And
the way you do business. Like, I hate when people don't accept PayPal for shit or something. I'm like, really? Like, you don't even accept PayPal? What the fuck world do we live
yes.
in?
And then with that being said, art communities are tend to be like pretty tight locally, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if the first artists that some of the first artists I had approached, maybe they were apprehensive, you know? We didn't have a website, we didn't have videos to show like what we were doing and the success behind it. But, the first artists that, took that risk in the summer and were like, well, hell, I'll accept Bitcoin. Like they want to buy my art, like, cool. Well, 3 months later, you're seeing them on social media saying, something like, I'm so happy I accepted, Bitcoin for my art in the summer. The value of that Bitcoin has gone like way, way up. Like artists are not, usually investors or, have the time or the access or the resources to, see gains. Like
Right.
that's not happening with fiat. So then you have that artist with that hype, basically creating FOMO to like the other artists in the scene of like, well, man, that worked for them, like they're in Bitcoin now. Like she's not even tech and she's got Bitcoin, and if
That's
she,
a good point.
if and if they, and it's as easy as that. Like my big thing is that we want people to learn about crypto as they're earning crypto.
Well,
Because before you,
I mean, that just brings me to a perfect point, and I don't want to skip over it. You said not all artists are starving, and they're kind of missing opportunities. Do you talk about Steam It to artists, and like how do you feel that most artists could benefit from projects like Steam It?
yeah, 100%. I mean, because they are curating
Mm-hmm.
content, that is, for global citizens and, for the artists to be empowered, they should have as many outlets and revenue streams for this content that they are creating as possible. And, to the point of the, say, the artist that is already successful and making money and doing great in, regular galleries and accepting fiat, why would they be interested in Bitcoin? I'd like to think that, most people are open-minded and, are and want to be current and don't want to be the person that, doesn't know about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if everyone else around you, it's like, oh, well, Bitcoin's not for me because I'm an artist. Or, like I don't think that I think that that could be the mindset if you couldn't see yourself getting into it through your skill set.
I'd be
And I guess
willing to bet
that's
that you
what
don't
I'm
see too much resistance from the art community, though. They seem to be like an open-minded, community. Most artists are open-minded. It's a lot to do
exactly.
with art, and being open-minded to new experiences. So I could see that it's an easy pitch, not a difficult one
Yes,
for sure.
exactly. It's 100% about the pitch. And like I have, like, perfected and crafted, how I speak to artists versus, different, people to be involved with the project. And the main thing, and everything I'm saying is 100% like authentic. I'm not, just saying things to say it. But you know, the thing that it's like why do I need to be accepting crypto? Okay, well because what I'm introducing you to is decentralized art shows. We are doing of our art show in a physical space so that global citizens can not only attend but also purchase your artwork. Now, if you have somebody in Romania trying to buy your painting from, the show in Miami, okay, like what is the fiat process of that?
Right.
Like the way to be selling art on a global level is to be using the global digital currencies. Like it may like that's that and so I mean that's the pitch. Do you want to open up accepting global sales and international sales And the best way to do that would be using the, global digital currencies that make that peer-to-peer and seamless. Um,
Well, what
yeah,
about
and
some
so
success stories though? Like, what's some of them, what's like the most expensive painting, the decentralized art show helped sell for crypto or,
okay.
something like that?
So there was a really cool, spontaneous, like happenstance at our last art show. The like attendees, 100% decided on their own to crowd fund the most expensive painting in the art show, the largest and most expensive painting for the venue. Like the party, all crowdsourced, and I think it was like I can't even. I'm not 100% how much. I think it was like I'm not 100% how much it was. It was definitely over $700. Um,
In crypto at
but
the time?
yes, that and so
Oh,
I would say the average of like everybody at the party sent about $10 to $25 in Bitcoin to the decentralized art show Airbit's QR. And from there, we sent all the money that was collectively raised to the artist, and that was purchased from the artist for Joe's coffee. The party bought that painting, crowdsourced it in Bitcoin, and so it was to stay at Joe's.
yeah, that was awesome. That was the one I was at, right? In Austin.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, that was an
yeah.
awesome event, man. I'm really looking forward to like that atmosphere again. And I know Miami with the same type of atmosphere. Oh man, it's gonna be a hell of a party. But I wanted to touch more on like Austin a little bit, before we move on to Miami here. What were some of your thoughts about that at the the event, and what are you hoping, to get out of the Miami event in comparison to the Texas event?
Okay, by event you mean like the Bitcoin conference?
Yes, yeah, the
Okay.
conference.
So, you know, um, I would say for the Texas Bitcoin conference, it was considerably smaller than most blockchain events and crypto conferences. So there's like negatives to that and positives to that. Um, there is more time to, meet and have like quality, like introduction and networking. You know what I mean? There's not as much of like a feeling of urgency of everyone to, do as much networking as they can because there's like thousands and thousands of people. When there's just a couple hundred people, you can, have like more, like touch back and forth, like conversation. And like, I think that there was a lot of, like cross collaborative, networking that was happening, which is really, really cool because I believe to see the, blockchain space scale, it's going to take a lot of these solutions that the different projects are providing to actually like work together synergistically to
Mm-hmm.
scale. And so that was something that I thought was just really impressive with the Texas Bitcoin conference.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. It was like crazy to see everybody playing along and like Dash being next to Nexus and Zencash and everybody like just Decred, everybody talking and mingling. It was like a really cool, like I don't know. It was awesome. It was like hanging out with everybody in crypto at like the lunchroom table, like all the cool kids.
right. Right. Yeah, 100%. And so the kind of like, metric I was, going off on that was that, you know, so what's really cool about this like setup here is that we get the local artists to, set up, their work, but what happens for usual galleries and shows and things like that, it's like they're the artist friends that are coming,
Mm-hmm.
or like it's like the local social scene because like, like we want to go do something cool and fun, and like I heard there was this cool art show, my friend of a friend's friend is in it, and that kind of stuff. Well, like nobody's selling that much stuff because it's friends of friends of friends, you know.
Yeah, there's no
So
new eyes.
right. And so 100% what we're doing is we're not only bringing new eyes, we're bringing people with crypto. Like it's all, CEOs and like top
Right.
level
And if there's
executives.
anything people with crypto love to do, it's spend it on dumb shit. It's like, I bought this
It,
dumb shit, but I bought it with crypto.
Right. And so now it's like you don't it's not buying dumb shit.
Yes.
You're putting like this is what I say. You spending Bitcoin on this level with local artists is gonna make the rest of the Bitcoin that you hold like the value that we all hope to see in our
Mm-hmm.
lifetimes, because that is going to come from this wave of mass user adoption. And you know art has set the pace and the standard of every historical revolution. So I do not anticipate this to be any different. Like, you know, so anything that, decentralized art shows can do to help empower artists in, the revolution to financial freedom through digital currencies and decentralized communities, like that's what we're here to do.
Maybe we can
And
try to get a cool art show to accept Bitcoin at an auction. That'd be awesome.
you yeah, yeah. Um, and so the formula that we're putting together here is to be doing art shows, bringing in local artists after crypto conferences in these areas, and keep rolling with this model. So as you were mentioning earlier, we're going to have to be finding local venues, local artists, and any of the places that we're going to be taking these events to. And the hope too is that local communities can build in these areas, and because it's decentralized, there can be leadership in art shows that are happening in these areas even after we've come through. They can continue on a local level. And so that's kind of what we want to do, is we just want to inspire and like plant seeds to see these as possibility, and empower the communities to be able to like run with it, and um, bring that that it when you keep your um, when you keep the money local, there's a lot to that. And so I think that that's another thing to maybe touch on Austin. Austin is like our slogan is, aside from like keep Austin weird, is keep Austin local. And you know th- when when cab drivers are making money in crypto, and then the crypto is like going up, they're
Yeah.
gonna go out and they're gonna get a steak dinner that
Right.
weekend, right? And if the restaurant is selling more steak dinners, they're gonna go to the market and buy more, produce. And you know what I'm saying? So like it's a ebb and flow cycle of success when you're keeping, the wealth local, and not letting like third party non-local entities extract outrageous portions of the monetary part without contributing to like creating value in the situation. So that's something that's really important to Austin, and has influenced me very much. So um, you know we want to make sure that we are, finding and getting as many local people in the places that we go. And we have our, email that if any artists anywhere, we want to go everywhere. So literally, if you're an artist and you're, open to showing your work and accepting crypto for it, and, shipping it anywhere in the world, then that from somebody that orders your artwork, then do reach out to us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have our website and our email. So any preferred means of contact, do reach out to us. And we just really want to grow this and get as many people um, involved as possible.
Yeah, I'm showing them on camera right here that this is the piece of art I bought with Bitcoin from the Texas decentralized art show that I went to. And I
Cool.
bought another piece of handmade art in the Bahamas with Bitcoin, and it's a palm knife, and it says Bitcoin carved in there. Bought that
No
with Bitcoin.
shit.
Yeah, dude, it was a guy selling art, handmade art, and I was like, dude, how much? And they were telling me, oh, it's like $25 minimum with Visa, and it's a $3 service fee. And I was like, holy shit, that's an expensive transaction fee, and that's an expensive minimum transaction. Damn, this blockchain sucks. Visa sucks. So I tried to tell them about Litecoin and Bitcoin and other digital currencies, and next thing you know, they're all downloading Airbits and other wallets to
Yeah.
check out, stuff. And
Okay,
it's
okay.
it's
Well,
you know what
that
I learned though? A lot of friends. I made a lot of friends in the Bahamas. I gave out my number, and they're having a hard time buying Bitcoin in the
yeah.
Bahamas. There's not many exchanges for them, if any.
See, so like you totally get it. You did it. Like when you were asking me earlier, like, well, what's your pitch? It's the same. It's like the pitch is, hey, here's an opportunity to make a sell and get like a new type of form of payment,
Mm-hmm.
and beyond not knowing of it right now, like once it's in your possession, you're going to ask the right questions and, research to, figure out, what you got. How do you hold it securely? How could you spend it if you wanted to? How could you buy something? How could you cash out? But when people are trying to like maybe figure that out before they have it, it's just like in one ear and out the other because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter yet.
No, yeah. It's like, oh, how do I use a computer, and you don't even have one yet. Like it's not going to help any. That's why I always tell people to buy like $10 worth of Bitcoin. You put a little bit of money into it, and it kind of forces your attention to focus a little bit more. You learn a little bit more, you get more comfortable, and you make a bigger investment.
100%. And so our project was, fortunate. We were fortunate to be featured in Forbes, and the article that was written up was, with us in collaboration with, everyone that had been written up in the article through decentralized art shows, and
That's
I
awesome.
think I think that this is just a guess. I'm speculating 100%. But I think that the reason that Forbes, wrote about us in that article wasn't just, because of, crypto Christmas and having these as options, which is really cool and true. I think maybe what caught Forbes' attention was how passionate we are about like educating and getting people into crypto like through the art. Like it you come to the art show and you are going to learn not just about cryptocurrency but about like the passion behind it because you have this caliber of people in the room. It's like it's just so exciting, the time and the space and what everyone's working on and passionate about. And that's, what's the word? Contagious. It's contagious. Like, even if you don't know, you're just like, you want to know. Like, so yeah, I like to, I think that the reason that, Forbes featured us in that article is because of the work that we're doing to really help educate local people and move towards, mass adoption and making sure that everyone is part of this revolution.
Yeah, it's awesome that you were featured. That's like hella crazy. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you kindly. Yeah, that's a big deal. I've
Yeah, for sure.
working on a lot of projects with a lot of money, a lot more money, a lot more resources, a lot more, name people than what we have going on, and it's just really amazing to see the feedback and like the demand.
You know what'd be
Like there's
cool?
literally a demand.
You know,
Yeah.
what'd be cool? Meetups with like decentralized art show meetups based on like one currency at a time, like a Zencash meetup or a Dash meetup,
Yeah.
where all the artists create art about that currency and it goes for that currency for sale. That would be
So
dope.
That is like 100% what we do. And so just I guess to talk just like quickly about like the rest of the team and like what's going on with this. So we have Summer, who is
Shout out
also a
the boss
co-founder.
lady.
Yes. Um, so, she is a co-founder of Decentralized Art Shows and works on our global sponsorships and global funding. And what that means is that we, for at the time being, are dependent on sponsorships and endorsements to make these decentralized art shows possible. Because what isn't decentralized is taxing the artists 40% of their sales to make
What?
the show happen, which is how most galleries and art shows are curated, and that's not what we're doing. So what we say is decentralized about the show is that
Wow.
we don't charge our artists. We want to suggest donation to us of like 5 to 15%. Some artists have donated more to us than that. Some artists have not donated anything at
Damn.
all. And so, but that and choosing it to do it like that, um, we see the value that we're creating in educating and opening wallets and getting masses onboarded into this space like agnostically, like we're very
Hmm.
agnostic. And so that's a large part of what Summer contributes to the project, is actually painstakingly writing proposals, because that's how the operations work, like in the decentralized governance systems. Are proposals to communities, and if they back it, then it moves in that direction. So that's what Summer works on and has her hands on. um, then our third co-founding partner is Jonathan Garza, and he is a local photographer and blockchain enthusiast from Austin, and a friend of mine, and also a big in the art scene in Austin, collector, and has been for forever. So what he does is Austin photography, 360 Austin photography, and so when people want to sell their like home, they can have the virtual reality tour, so you can like move the dots around and like see through the
Oh
whole
yeah, it's
home.
so dope.
So Jonathan
With like these things.
does that.
Yeah. That's
Jonathan does that. He is a 360 awesome photographer. He's for hire and to be, shooting these homes for sale. So what we wanted to do was take that same technology, but put it into our art gallery. So that's the layer that makes it even more broad to be decentralized, and that it's not a art show for just those who can physically attend, because we do this 3D VR. That anyone in the world can attend, and it also documents a live event in a way of archive, so that
oh.
that can still be experienced. It wasn't a fleeting moment. So another service that we offer outside of our art shows is artists will say, well, this was a great experience. Would you be interested to, can we hire the service to come into my art studio? Can you do a 3D VR of my art studio, so I can, show people my space? And so that's another branch that we're going down to help empower artists with, content and stories and visuals, and just creating a environment of creativity that people can see how and what they're doing and how they're creating. Um, so yes, that's what Jonathan does. He has the very specialized camera, and the experience in doing that. So if you check out our website, you can see all of our past galleries that we've done in the 3D VR. Hmm.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now for everybody. That is crazy. So what are people gonna, what can they expect at the Decentralized Art Show in Miami, for the attendees as well as the artists?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, basically what's going to happen is we're going to be doing, as much like, like guerrilla marketing and like getting press as we can, and ahead of the show. So thank you kindly for having me on tonight. And then we'll be attending the conference. And so, usually we will maybe print out some handbills, and, we're all pretty personable and friendly and love, the blockchain space and community building. So, we'll talk to people and invite them to our shows and at the conference and let them know, like, this is what we're doing, and like we're personal about it. Like I'm going to find everyone at the conference and meet them and introduce myself and invite them. And it's a really exciting time. People are like, "Are you serious? Cool," and hopefully that will happen, as well as we're inviting local people and encouraging artists to invite their friends and their network as well. And even though I had said earlier that the sales might not be coming from their network or their friends, that's not what we're expecting at this show. So
Mm-hmm.
if you bring your friends, it's actually more people that I can introduce to cryptocurrency and more wallets that I can set up. So
I love it. So
yeah,
is
we
it?
want.
It's like a Trojan horse of art and crypto. Is it crypto hidden in art, or is it art hidden in crypto? Who cares? Either freaking way, you win. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, 100. That's so cool. Good way to put it. Um, because I think I am trying to be a little sneaky in that way,
But it's
you know?
perfect because that's what you have to do. You have to hide something new and something familiar. And that's, if people are passionate about their art and they need to have, a way to do business, and this is a new way of doing business, it gives them a comfort, hey, I'm familiar with my art and the new Bitcoin. Let's see what this
Yeah,
is. Or I know about crypto, but I don't really care too much about art. Let me go to this event. And next thing you know, like me, I end up buying an epic piece of art, that you just
yes,
fall in love with.
yes. And, so I watch your show a lot, and I know that I can cuss if I want to. So I guess I want to say this part too. So one of my frustrations in the blockchain space is, um, like, I'm all about the tech, okay? Like I get it, that's why we're here. But you know, there's got to be people that not only want to use it, but they know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And like for it all, like that all has to work together to work. Okay, so the cussing thing is that, you know, for the past 4 years, I'd say we've been in heads down dev mode, like blockchain space, heads down dev mode. And, what's happening is that these projects are coming out with their MVPs, and the devs have, their egos in the sky and their dicks in their hands,
Mm-hmm.
wondering where all the users are. We've
Nobody knows
built
how to
this
use their
great.
shit.
Yeah, and their egos are so skyrocketing that they're just like don't understand how and why people aren't using their tech. And it's like, well, because all you did was invest in the tech. You didn't invest in community building. You didn't invest in
Mm-hmm.
education. You didn't invest in adoption. You didn't invest in warranting attention from users. Like, cool, you made a product that everyone in the blockchain space can have a circle jerk about. Like that's all you've got going.
Yeah, no,
But
you're absolutely right.
I 100% know I'm right.
No, you know what
And
sucks though? It leaves it up to people like you and me who are really passionate about this to be their free tech support. Like,
yes,
I love Bitcoin. So what do? We tell people to buy Bitcoin. And then it's like, all right, well, check out Coinbase because that's the easiest way to get it. And then next thing you know, any
I don't ever
friend,
say that.
I know, I'm getting tired of saying it too, but there's really like I'm at the point where I'll just sell Bitcoin. I'm like, fine, here. But no matter where
Yeah.
you tell people to go to get it, they come back to you with tech support questions, and you end up working for tech support for somebody. Like, it's
Yeah.
really does come down to that. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about Swarm City if you don't mind.
Okay.
Like when you hop in an Uber and you must have to be like, yo, dude, you're losing like 30% off the top to Uber. There's this thing called Swarm City. Like how does that kind of conversation go? Because that's the type of things like I really see in the future taking off. Like the decentralized ride sharing and that whole like cutting out the middleman of a company, like that just gets me so like that's where I'm at. So I just wanted to
Yes.
talk a little bit about like Swarm City before we wrap things up. So like
Cool.
what do you tell an Uber driver like their future looks like? Because I'm just wondering what a co-founder of Swarm City would say to somebody who's driving for Uber and how their future looks.
Right. I think usually what I would say to Uber drivers is, first I'll ask them if they have, I don't know, I'm kind of funny about this, but I'll be like, have you ever done anything like on Craigslist? That's usually what I say. I'm like, have you ever just like gone on Craigslist and like bought a ticket, to a show? Like, have you ever used Craigslist? And it's totally unsuspecting, like I don't like to just start talking about it like, hey, would you accept Bitcoin to drive people around? Like, that's boring. So I'm like, have you ever used Craigslist? Or like, usually yes, like who hasn't used Craigslist? And then it's like, well, you know, have you ever considered if there was a type of like truly peer-to-peer, like service provider platforms like Craigslist, So if you wanted to walk someone's dog, you could solicit that service and have a peer-to-peer transaction, you know, through something like Craigslist. And that's usually like where I take the conversation, and people's minds are blown and they get it so quickly.
That
They're
is
like,
pretty
"Oh
smart.
wow,
That's another Trojan horse right there. I love it. That is a
yeah,
good idea because again, it brings them to that comfort place, the thing they're familiar with, Craigslist, and this new thing. I love it. No, that's
yes."
really smart.
The people always have to learn through what they can relate to, but you're trying to teach them, new things. So just as you said, you have to be introducing them to new things through things that they can relate to. Um, so yeah, I don't like start talking to new. I mean, I've been in this, for so long that I did do that. I was like, like what do you call it? Like, when you just like talk so much and like, just like wait, they're just like looking at you like googly eyed, like, head spinning, like, what? You're like, there's a lot of passion here. Cool, but I don't know what to do with any of it.
Right.
And I was just spinning my own wheels. Like, I got to learn a lot, but like, I have to, my action, I'm like action oriented, and like, I have to see outcome, or I have to, like readdress like my steps and like my tactic. So that this is perfection of having not been perfect for and getting the type of response and action that I wanted. Um, yes.
I just checked it out. Craigslist actually has a specific option now for accepting cryptocurrencies for listed services and goods.
Yes, that happened, I think within the last like 2 weeks
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, it's pretty new.
Yes. And but the thing is, like, you Craigslist is still Craigslist, and it's not, it's not built out for being, truly decentralized and peer-to-peer, and for all those possibilities to happen. That's what Swarm City aspires to be, and the project is sitting in a very good position to, be able to follow through with the goal, which is to be a decentralized e-commerce platform that, people can freely provide services and maintain their own hashtags as their businesses through.
That, yeah, again, that's I hold SWT, so full disclosure, I have some in my Ether wallet. It's an ERC20 token if people aren't aware, and you could hold it on your myetherwallet.com, and I do, and I really love Swarm City and a lot of the decentralized ride sharing platforms. Again, I won't ever say I'm like I don't care for monopolies, so I love that there's competition because if anything, it forces projects to keep fighting to be better than each other. So I love that there's other decentralized ride sharing platforms. And instead of Craigslist, what was it? Open Bazaar. Open Bazaar is like a Craigslist type of thing for crypto, right? Have you ever checked that out?
Yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah.
Open
And then
Bazaar. That's where if people are looking to get any of the crypto gear I wear, like Bitcoin or Litecoin hats and shirts, I get it from Conquest with a K. That's Conquest with a K on Open Bazaar. They hook me up with all my swag.
also you can look on like Shopify, and you can turn it to just see who shops accept Bitcoin, and you can do the same
Hmm.
on Etsy.
Oh, Etsy
You
lets
can
you accept Bitcoin directly now?
yes, the users can, the users that choose can, I think, import their own crypto accepting like widget or whatever.
Dude,
But
that's so
yes,
dope.
I have seen that. I haven't purchased anything with crypto from Etsy yet.
I love Etsy. I used to use Etsy all the
Same.
time for like my beard wax. And there was a company, I'll plug them for free, Wonderful Whiskers, the best beard wax and beard balm. But the guy wouldn't accept crypto, and I found somebody that would, so I got my beard balm for crypto somewhere else. But it was
See,
amazing.
see, and
I didn't want to give
that's
Etsy
where
my
we're
Visa
at.
information. You know what I mean? For me, it's personal information per transaction. So if I'm buying something, it's got to mean enough to me that I'm willing to risk my personal identification and information for all of that. Because like if Target gets hacked, my Visa was used there. Now my bank info's at risk. So now I shop a little bit more carefully, and I'm a little bit careful who I give my Visa info to. So if I'm just buying beard wax, I want to use Bitcoin because like I'm not gonna risk my personal information over beard wax. It's not happening.
Yeah, nope, nope. And um, I know we're probably getting close on time,
Mm-hmm.
but just want to remind people that, you know, taking privacy seriously doesn't mean that you have anything to hide. That's a question
No,
or
no, you have a
comment
lot to
I often
lose.
get. Exactly. So, people should be taking their privacy serious, because once you have a problem where you're like, hey, my identity is at risk or been breached, and you start to then be concerned about privacy, you can't backtrack then. Like, you're screwed. You know, the best that you can do is take your privacy seriously on the
Mm-hmm.
forefront, and do everything that you can, in your that's in as best as you can in your control, to take your personal identity, very seriously.
That is an awesome takeaway. Like I was gonna ask if you wanted to have anything you wanted people to take away from this, but you went and did it for me. That is awesome. So, is there anything that you wanted to talk about before we get wrapping up? Anything that you wanted to make sure we mentioned? I know people know. Where's the venue for the art show in Miami? Is there a venue listed?
So, I can say that the area is going to be like the Wynwood like art district. It's going to be about 12 minutes from the venue that the conference is being held
Awesome.
in. Now, as far as like the address and exactly like what venue it's going to be, we're still choosing between two or three galleries right now, and yeah, so just through the holidays, a lot of the owners of the galleries and things have taken off, and so we'll be solidifying the address for the event, by, I would say, before January 6th, January 7th, we'll have the address for the event. And I guess any other takeaway would be, you know, I would find great success from this time, on this call tonight, if we did find some artists, anywhere that were, interested to, join our project and be a Dartist, you know, that would be like that would be the best takeaway, you know, for me.
Awesome. I really hope that there are artists out there that are interested, and if they are, there are links below. Definitely go and check out these centralized art shows. Thank you so much, Lauren Slade, for coming on to talk about the decentralized art shows. It's a really awesome project. I've been to the events in Texas, and it was awesome to see like the grassroots, like, passion meets enthusiasm meets pure interest. It was just epic, and I'm really looking forward to doing the same in Miami. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Give people a little shout out of where they can find more of you, and where all your information and projects lie.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you can always check us out on, like I said, the website. We're on like Twitter, Instagram, um, as well as Facebook. And we also have the Meetup group. And so if you're on Meetup, you can just, set the city to Austin and then search decentralized art shows and like join our group, because, it's not just a group for Austin. We're like started here, but we're moving around. So join that, and that's how you can like stay up to date and see like what events are going on. And yeah, we just want to invite everyone to be a part of this, community and revolution.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Shout out to Boss Lady and everybody in the live chat. Don't forget to check out these centralized art shows, and have a day. Lauren, have a day.
All right, bye, bud.